Singh, Namaste. Jai Hind, sir. Can you hear me?
Just 1 second.
Dr. Jitendra Singh.
Namaste, Anand.
Namaste. Thank you. You're on the move and you've taken the time out to speak with us, but it's a proud moment for us. You were there.
Always.
You were there inside. Thoda
a
experience
pleasure
to bataiye. Were you still the Neta or did you suddenly become the passionate Indian who's seeing that rocket go up and say Jai Hind?
Absolutely. I think cutting across the sections. And for the first time, I have been associated with the Department of Space for almost 1 decade now. It was an amazing scene over there in the Satish Dhawan Space Center for one important reason that I've never seen such a huge crowd of people over there. That is also significant of the fact that Prime Minister Modi has unlocked the gates of Sri Harikota for the common public, and we had as much as I think not less than 1,000 media persons.
Wow.
1,000 media persons. Then one of them said there was a tweet from the Congress party saying that these things used to happen in their times also. I said, did you ever happen to be here? He said no. So I said that is the answer. That has actually led to the development of an ecosystem. When Prime Minister Modi opened it for private players, it also led to the involvement of the industry, the academia, the startups, the media, all of them pooling in their resources in whatever capacity they have, supplementing each other's efforts, each other's assets. And I think this is a huge bonanza which was seen happening there, and the beginning of a new approach and a new culture in the working of the ISRO and the space sector in India, which was earlier working in a kind of a wheel of secrecy and trying to keep itself away from the rest of the world, and in the process inadvertently depriving itself of the huge resource, whether it be in the form of knowledge resource or the financial resource, and spending time in a financial crunch and not being able to give full play to their potentials. Right. As you see those pictures of Sarabhai carrying the launcher vehicle on the carriage of his bicycle. So I think there's a huge change which was witnessed today.
Sir, the scientists also seem to be, not so serious. They also like a bit of banter and some fun. We saw Somnath ji, the mission director, also indulge in some fun while they were announcing and talking about it. That also brings across the human face, doesn't it? Jan Bhagidari in the true sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's precisely what I'm saying. There's a change in the culture, work culture itself, because you see what had happened is that for the last 60, 70 years they were working in isolation. They would not move out, they would not let anybody come in. It was a taboo moving out, mixing with people. So they got to live in a different kind of a world. And the interpersonal, interactions and the interpersonal behaviors also take the kind of form that the environment that you live in. Now they are dealing with young startups, some bright young boys, girls from IITs and Science Institute. They are dealing with industry houses, both domestic and as well as overseas. They are dealing with academicians of all hues and colors. So that has also given them a huge lot of exposure. So it has enabled the growth on both sides. So I think it's a optimum pooling of all the assets that is made, all the stakeholders have been brought together. So obviously, as you rightly mentioned, that fun might have been missing because they were not allowed to have fun, or they even forgot that there was something like fun outside.
It was evident this time around. Just two more questions, Dr. Jitendra Singh. I know you've also got pressing engagements. I just want to understand from you, sir. ये landing अब की बार पक्की है? You have the confidence?
No, absolutely. Actually, क्या है कि even in the landing the last time, in some quarters it was said that it was a failure. But as somebody from the scientific fraternity, I would rather say that it would be unfair even to call that exercise a failure, because if you go by the record of the other countries, none of them have had a smooth landing in the first or second attempt. So to that extent, our statistically record is better than many other countries, whether it be the USA. But having said that, what happened last time was that the landing did happen.
Yeah.
It's not that it didn't happen. The rover there did bring out messages sent back to us, but the entire lot of agenda that we had envisaged for ourselves did not get accomplished, and that was an disappointment for us. Now this time, not only that part has been taken care of, because of course even if it is a successful mission, we always tend to improve in the subsequent mission. You know, like you direct one movie and then you learn some pitfalls and you improve on the next movie, even regardless of whether the earlier movie had done well. Even then you try to do that. So we try to improve upon even on the successful preceding mission. But this time, of course, besides that, some of the pitfalls which we thought should not have been there, but also taken care of. Some buffer effect was also there, and most significantly, what would make this Chandrayaan-3 apart from the other missions is that's going to land on the south polar area, where it will be a continuation of the finding that its predecessor Chandrayaan-1 brought, and which startled the world. It brought the evidence of H2O molecules, water molecules on the surface of the moon, which had not been discovered even by the countries which had landed on the moon.
So, not just that, and Madhavan Nairji, I was speaking with him just before you joined, and he said that if we can figure out if there is enough, that can provide fuel for us to return, because the hydrogen can be isolated and we can look at that possibility going forward. Absolutely. Sir, even as we speak, final question, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the Elysee Palace for the joint statement. With the Americans, we had the Artemis space station agreement that we would send one of our astronauts there. With the French, what are we looking in the arena of space?
No, we are open to collaboration with all the countries now. It's no longer a taboo, and I personally believe it has to be PPP plus PPP, public-private participation domestically with public-private participation overseas. So likewise France also, and the very fact that Artemis has happened in the other agreement about the International Space Station is also indicator of the fact that India today is being looked upon as looked up as an equal partner. So it's now America which is soliciting one of our astronauts to accompany them to the International Space Station to add value to their expedition. So I think having started late, and as you said in the case of water, I was telling somebody this morning in lighter weight that even though America was the first to land a human being on the surface of moon in 1969, who made a very catchy statement. He said, "One small step for man, huge giant step for mankind."
Giant leap for mankind.
BBC also picked up his visual, but he couldn't place the presence of water around. So he had a small stall. It was our Chandrayaan we genuinely collected. So now India is being looked up as a very important, a very valuable role player in this entire space sector domain.
Sir, proud moment, sir, and thank you very much for accommodating in such short time. Thank you for your time, and always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you, and let's take that conversation forward with Ambassador Deepak Vora. Sir, thank you for your patience. It's all real time.